we feel like we've got a pretty good selection at launch and what's going to be there for our fans.
Is there a plan to bring back dual wielding in Halo Infinite?
Currently, no, that's not.
Will there be playable elites in Halo Infinite?
Similar to the last answer, no.
Folks have asked us, are they in, are they out? What's going on with assassinations? So what's the scoop there?
So they're not in for launch, and I think we're just going to be straight about that, right?
We made the really tough decision to delay shipping campaign co-op for launch, and we also made the tough call to delay shipping Forge past launch as well.
What are we doing, 343? What are we doing? 343 announces earlier today in a video that Halo Infinite will not launch with co-op campaign or Forge. Now let me start with sharing my opinions on no Forge at launch for Halo Infinite. So here's how I feel about that. If the Halo Infinite Forge turns out to be absolutely incredible, like a massive improvement over Halo 5's Forge, and Halo 5's Forge was already insane, then I don't mind it not being here at launch. Halo 5 also did not launch with Forge, as many of you know, and I've always said I've kind of given 343 a pass on that one because of how incredible the Halo 5 Forge was when it finally did make its way into the game. So it's not as black and white as Halo 3 had Forge at launch, but Halo 5 didn't. What's up with that? Because Halo 5's Forge was so much more complex. And because of how advanced it was, I did not mind waiting in Halo 5. But in Halo 5, we got that Forge mode about 2.5 months after Halo 5 released. About 2.5. With Halo Infinite, they're talking about getting Forge into the game 6 months after launch. They said they're shooting to bring Forge to Halo Infinite in Season 3, and they said each of their seasons are 3 months. So 6 months after launch of Halo Infinite, and that's after launch. I mean, if you start now, let's say Halo Infinite comes out in November, that's 8 months. That's 8 months from now to get a new Forge experience. That's absolutely insane. And some of you might be thinking, you know, that's not a big deal to me. I don't really Forge. But a lot of people play those fun customs. A lot of people play custom maps in Halo. So even if you're not the one forging them, you're playing on them. And if Forge isn't in the game, then what are we going to do about these fun customs, these custom maps? I guess maybe 343 will have some in the game, because they did have some custom Forge maps in Halo 5 at launch, but they just didn't have the actual Forge mode in the game at launch. So maybe they'll do something like that with Infinite, and there will be some Forge maps. Maybe there will be some fun custom games that 343, you know, that they create themselves and put in the game. But it's never going to compare to what the community is going to make in Forge. But 6 months, 6 whole months, that is a long time to go without Forge in Halo. That's pretty incredible. And it's not even a guarantee this Forge will be drastically better than Halo 5's Forge. It's not even a guarantee that it will be as good as Halo 5's Forge. And, you know, it got me thinking, like, why can't they just give us a bare bones version of Forge at launch and add to it over time? Like, why can't they just at least do that? So, you know, we have something there at launch as far as Forge goes. But it doesn't look like they're going that route, and it just looks like we are going to have to wait 6 months after Halo Infinite's launch to get a Forge mode. Hey, those launch maps in the game, they better be damn good. And I'll tell you right now, the ones that we've already seen that we played during the technical preview, I thought they were all average. Just a hard meh tier. Not bad, not good, average as fuck. And I know some of you may have loved some of those Infinite maps, but just keep in mind, when I'm calling them average, I'm comparing them to the best maps in all of Halo. But again, like I said, if the Halo Infinite Forge mode proves to be the best Forge mode we've ever seen in Halo, like way better than Halo 5's, then I'll give them a pass on it. Maybe, I don't know, the 6 months, that's what's getting to me, man. That's a long time. Halo 5, we had to wait 2.5, so I don't know. That's still really bad that it's going to take 6 months. I don't necessarily care that it's not there at launch if it does turn out to be incredible, but 6 months is a long time. But just imagine that the Forge mode is something insane, like with forgeable AI, with scripting. Imagine if you could create your own campaign missions, essentially, in the Halo Infinite Forge. That would be incredible. Absolutely incredible. I don't know how many of you are familiar with Doom 2016. They had a snap map mode where you could pretty much create the whole ass levels and scripting AI and shit. That was incredible. If Halo Infinite's Forge is like that, then again, not a big deal that it's not there at launch, but the 6 months is a long fucking time. Okay, so now let's move on to one of 343's biggest embarrassments of all time. No co-op campaign in Halo Infinite at launch. They're looking to bring it into the game in Season 2. So that's 3 months. 3 months? For co-op campaign? When we had co-op campaign in the very first Halo game? In 2001? That is terrible, unacceptable, extremely embarrassing for 343. Don't try to defend that. Listen, I've been pretty open-minded about the live service model for games. My opinion has been that live service isn't necessarily a bad thing for games. Like if Halo Infinite launched with everything a Halo game should have at launch, and it just added content frequently over time, live service, I don't see the problem in that. That's not a bad thing. But the reason people are skeptical of the live service model is because they can get away with shit like this. Listen to what Joe Staten said here in this video from earlier today.
Where we landed was, Halo Infinite is a live game, so it isn't really ever done. You know what I mean? It's going to progress and evolve from season to season. We talk about launch being the beginning of that journey, but to have a beginning, you need to pick a moment and actually begin.
You hear that? Halo Infinite is a live game. It's never really done. It's going to progress and evolve. So that's why it's not such a bad thing that co-op campaign and Forge aren't here at launch, because we're going to bring them in later on. That's why people fucking hate the live service model, because people pull shit like that. And 343 said they're trying to get co-op campaign into the game in Season 2 and Forge into the game with Season 3. Now, if the Forge isn't incredible, if it's just as good as Halo 5 or not even as good as Halo 5, then that should have been there at launch. I do think that should have been there at launch. And I don't think they should consider the Forge in Season 3 part of the content coming with Season 3. Because no, that should have been there at launch. If it is incredible and it blows the Halo 5's Forge out of the water, then sure, I give them a pass on that. If it is absolutely insane, the Forge in Halo Infinite. And same thing with the co-op campaign. That does not count as post-launch content for Halo Infinite, because that should have been there at launch. That definitely should have been. There is no excuse to not have to not have co-op in Halo Infinite at launch. That's absolutely insane. It's insanity, especially when the game has been in development this long. The Halo game that's been in development the longest is going to be the first mainline Halo game to release without co-op campaign. Dude, that is so massive. Like, that is a tradition for some people. Play through the campaign co-op on launch day. And now they can't do that. And now they gotta wait 2 months to do that. The campaign is the paid side of Halo Infinite. Like, the multiplayer's free, and then you're just paying for the campaign, I believe. And we're paying for a campaign without co-op. That's really bad. That's really bad. And if you're defending this, if you're defending the no co-op at launch in the Halo game that's been in development the longest, and you also wonder why you get called a 343 dick rider, this is why. This right here, this moment where you defended that is why. And now I'm just left wondering what other surprises are in store. What else is this game not going to launch with? Or what kind of bugs is it going to launch with? You know, have you guys been paying attention how they've been slowly feeding this information to us with things that aren't going to be there in the game at launch? At first it was no dual wielding, no playable elites. Then they hit us with no assassinations. Now no co-op campaign, no Forge, no what else? What's next? What's gonna be broken at launch? I mean, what about is Firefight? Is that just a lost cause at this point? Like, do I even need to ask about Firefight? Like, we don't even get co-op campaign. Firefight, I think, should be a staple in Halo. It was introduced with ODST. It was in Halo Reach, and it was incredible. I mean, the amount of customization in Halo Reach's Firefight was insane. I think Firefight should be in every Halo game, but we haven't actually got a true Firefight mode since Halo Reach. So I definitely don't want that to be a mode we just forget about and we just accept not being in Halo. No, that is a mode that should be in Halo. That Firefight is great. But you know, when they hit us with this news, when they tell us certain things aren't going to be there at launch, why can't they follow it up with, but we got this? No dual wielding, no playable elites, but we do have whatever this new thing is. But they don't do that. No assassinations at launch, but no co-op campaign, no Forge at launch, but they don't do that. No, it's just yeah, we don't have this. We probably should have this at launch, but you know, we don't. Game's been in development longer than any other Halo game, but we don't. And you know, some people, you know, one thing I want to point out, some people point out that, oh, it's a new engine, the Slip Space engine. They had to create a whole new engine, you know, that's why it was in development. Yeah, there's still plenty of the Blam engine within the Slip Space engine, and 343 has even admitted to this on one of their social streams. So contrary to what some people believe, they did not create this engine from the ground up. They reused aspects of the Blam engine. So you can't use that excuse, oh, it's a completely new engine, you know, that's why it took so long. Listen, this game has been in development for an incredibly long time, and everything, all these no co-op campaign, Forge 6 months out, no playable elites, and all these other things, inexcusable. I mean, what the hell did they plan to release to us last year on Halo Infinite's original release date? What were they going to give us? What did they have? I mean, because they've had this extra time, and we're getting no co-op campaign. Did that? So now, I mean, I've always wanted co-op theater mode to return ever since Halo 3. Now I can assume that's not going to be a thing. I can almost guarantee that won't be a thing in Halo Infinite. No co-op campaign. That's crazy, man. No co-op campaign. And yet, in the multiplayer overview video for Halo Infinite, Quinn Del Hoyo said this.
We feel like we've got a pretty good selection at launch and what's going to be there for our fans. We feel like we've got a pretty good selection at launch and what's going to be there for our fans. We feel like we've got a pretty good selection at launch and what's going to be there for our fans.
We're happy with the we're happy with the selection we got at launch. Listen, not having co-op campaign is one thing, and then not having co-op campaign at launch and saying, We're happy with the selection we got at launch. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, at the time, did they even know that there was going to be no co-op at the time of that video? It's possible. It's possible that they didn't, when the multiplayer overview video came out, that they didn't already know that there was going to be no co-op at launch for Halo Infinite. I don't know. But to say that we're happy with the selection we got here at launch, and there's no co-op campaign in the game, that's absurd. If 343 would have told us something like, Battle Royale isn't coming at launch, we might get it in Season 3. That's acceptable. That's understandable. I mean, a lot of people don't even want the game to launch with Battle Royale, or don't even want a Battle Royale at all. But yeah, that's acceptable. That's this brand new mode for Halo. So not having that there at launch, understandable. And the Forge, that will also be kind of understandable if it's absolutely incredible. Although 6 months is a very long time without Forge, without being able to create custom maps, fun custom games. I mean, that is pretty bad. And the no co-op campaign at launch, that's one of 343's biggest embarrassments. Hands down, that is so embarrassing. And listen, I've seen several people talking about 343 should delay the game again. No, guys, delaying the game again at this point to release it in a finished state, that doesn't make it any better. A second delay and releasing it without co-op campaign, without Forge at launch, they're both just as bad. Dude, how many times do you delay the game? You can keep delaying the game, but delaying a game over and over again that's not a good thing. So what, should they just keep delaying it until it's in an acceptable state? No. The first delay I can understand, yeah. Delay the game, make sure it's finished, and then launch it. But you can't, not at this point, no. No, you don't delay the game again, because that's just as bad as releasing it as is. Oh, but if they don't delay the game and they release it like this, they're going to get a ton of shit. Yeah, and they should. They should get a ton of shit. They're getting a ton of shit right now. People are making videos like this. I mean, this no co-op campaign, that's inexcusable. That's so bad. Like, that is unbelievably bad for Halo. I mean, for 343 and Halo. It's still just mind-blowing. Who would have thought back in 2001 playing Halo CE that the 2021 version of Halo wouldn't have co-op campaign at launch? Who would have ever thought that? Not this guy. So that's pretty much it for this one. Those are my thoughts on this recent news for Halo Infinite. No co-op campaign, no Forge at launch. Listen, I've been pretty hopeful about Halo Infinite recently, and I had a good reason to be, because I played the game, and I had a lot of fun with it. And I've always been saying that Halo Infinite could still be a bad game at launch. It could still be broken. It could still be missing a ton of shit that should be there. I've been very clear about that. So it's not like, so I know I'm gonna have some people saying, "Oh, look, you got blinded by the hype. I told you the game was gonna be bad." No, I just played the game and I thought it was fun, and I said Halo Infinite could still be a bad game at launch. So I didn't get fooled by anything. And who knows? What we do get with Halo Infinite at launch might be incredible. Maybe we'll get 20 multiplayer maps at launch. And maybe all the maps we haven't seen are like the best maps we've ever gotten in Halo. Probably not, but yeah, who knows? Well, anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this one. Let me know what you think about this. I feel like the general consensus is kind of how I feel. Like, the no co-op campaign is unacceptable. But if the Forge is incredible, better than Halo 5's, then it's not such a bad thing it wasn't there at launch. Although 6 whole months without Forge fun customs is a pretty long time. Yeah. What's next, 343? Hit me with something else. What are we doing now? What is it? Anyways, that's going to do it for this one. Thanks for watching. I will see you on the next one. Peace out, everybody.